Oh, about his bro is hard, but like you don't understand my situation. I'm this and this and this. Nobody fucking cares.
Your results don't care about your feelings. If you want to make $1 million, you have to know to risk 100K also.
I can't be number two. I have to be number one. I just can't be number two.
If it wasn't for my mom, I'll be working in a construction site. If it wasn't for her, who knows that I would take the bet to be a closer or do online businesses.
Welcome to another episode of the Dynasty Podcast. This is me and Jun today. Today we're going to talk about how to pre-handle those annoying objections. That way it doesn't become more annoying in the end. And that way you don't lose out on those commish.
Yep. The way I do it is just you need to gain leverage in the very beginning so I can keep people accountable. Again, I probably told it so many times. It's like my framework is why you're selling yourself short from start to beginning to end. And I think you do the traditional NEPQ, or like how do you do it?
We're going to talk about that today.
Figure it out today.
So smash the like button, subscribe, turn bell notification on. I feel like such a YouTuber. But yeah, we'll get into it.
You are a YouTuber.
Okay, so first question, why even pre-handle? Why not just fucking handle it later?
I mean, it's like suddenly you're having a platonic date with a girl, and out of the blue you're like, "Do you want to go to my place?" How many times how many times has that worked for you?
I don't know. Why not do that?
I don't know. It just never worked for me personally.
Okay,
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah. So that's the thing, right? When there's a saying where if you wait till the end, then it becomes a lot more difficult, just because at that point, now you've dropped the price, has 5K, 10K, and their brain's in fight or flight mode. So now their brain's going haywire. So is it impossible? No. But is it, with certain things, is it better to handle it more up top? Yes.
I mean, prospects are way more receptive to you and way more trusting to you pre-pitch, no matter what. Now, after the pitch is a whole different conversation from there. So in order for you to actually navigate the post-pitch conversation, then the pre-pitch conversation needs to be conditioned a certain way so that it makes sense for us to handle certain ways post-pitch,
Okay. Yeah. You have some controversy on your post on Facebook.
I'm a keyboard warrior, I like to troll around.
Yep.
I mean, I'm Korean. Come on, like.
What does that have to do with anything?
why
Those
not?
two things have zero correlation to one another.
We always live in Reddit, so.
I don't.
You don't?
You nerd.
I did in Korean Reddit, I would say.
Okay, but people are saying, objection handling, like they're talking. What did I say? Like you made a post about like, I do objection handling, and people were like, but you're saying like, okay, but objection handling doesn't always need to be at the end. It can be throughout the whole call.
Yeah. So I think I said something like 90% of my closes are from objection handling. And I kind of knew that would create controversy, but I still posted it. And people are like, "Oh, your discovery is shit. You wait all the end to get objections." I'm like, "This is exactly what I wanted.
Wow.
This is exactly what I wanted."
Bro, you're a pervert.
I'm a pervert. I'm an attention hoe.
Attention pervert.
I chose the wrong profession. Like I said, I should be doing something else.
Yep.
Should be doing something else.
Yep.
But overall, like, no, I do
Lincoln
not
bio.
wait until I get an objection. But I do pre-handle a lot.
Yeah.
Do the legwork so that objection handling becomes natural, because the offer that I was working in, they didn't have a strong pre-qualification process. They just let everyone in, and it was a startup, so it was my job to just get people in as much as possible. Whether I see that I can help them either way or not. But I mean, what about you? Like, do you wait all the end to get an objection, or?
Well, here's the funny thing, because in BizOp, it's kind of like a flood the gate type of thing, right? Hey, like let everyone through, and then like, we'll just kind of do it. I sold BizOp, and also I sold 7th. And the thing about 7th level is that you sell sales training to salespeople. And so doesn't matter how good you are, it's just inevitable that you will get objection. And here's the interesting part about it. There's a very specific reason. Because if a salesperson gets, let's say, think about objections quite often because they're shit at sales, which is a common thing.
Yeah.
Because they get that often, they think it's normal to give that objection themselves.
Oh, interesting. Because I thought it was the opposite, actually. Salespeople giving less objections.
Well, here's the thing about different industries, because we come from a high-ticket industry. So the thing about the high-ticket coaching sales industry is that there's more of that quote unquote congruency because like they invest in coaching and so that's why they sell coaching and that's why they buy coaching. So they're more of that mindset to invest in themselves.
Right.
The thing is, a lot of the people that I was selling at 7th were not from high ticket. There's actually probably one of the least common ones. Funny enough, the most common ones are like the traditional boring ones, which is like solar, real estate, home improvement, insurance. Like I'm already falling asleep, right? So especially with insurance or real estate and like B2B SaaS, those people's sales cycles are longer and they get so often from prospects that, yeah, let me go think about it. Yeah, we'll look over the documents. Can you send me more emails? Because they get that often, they think that is normal. So they give those objections. So that's the weird thing is that like, so even Matt was talking about during our training calls when Matt was running 7th level as CEO is you will still get objections. Yes, you try to do your job at pre-handling and things like that, but it still happens.
Wow, I didn't know that because all I was taught is if you're a salesperson and you're giving an objection, you're a dick, you're a bitch.
Yeah,
that was how I was conditioned. So whenever I get on the call, like you know us, like we just piff. Usually, where it's just at the worst case, like a payment plan, you know. Yeah. I mean, for your story, it's like you invest in Inner Circle, just piffing right away, I think, right?
Well, I was too broke to piff, buddy.
Oh, really?
I did the lowest payment plan.
Oh, really?
But I bought after 15 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, that was all the money I had in my fucking PayPal account.
And with me investing in Marco or Bill Walsh also, like it was like with Bill Walsh, I think I even went with I could have even fitted to the lowest payment plan.
Oh, shit. How did you buy it?
I mean, I said, hey, Bill, I got like $3,000 only, and I'll give you everything that I have. And Bill was like, I'll take you in, brother.
Romantic. I'll give you everything I have.
Well, I mean, Bill told one of his students later down the road that he thought I was never gonna make it, you know. But he's just a dick, you know. But I have a lot of love for him.
Okay.
Yeah.
So objection, pre-handling. So let's talk about how do you even spot things that could later come up as an objection? Because in order to pre-handle something, you got to be able to spot it in the first place, right?
Yeah.
So how can you spot it?
Well, I have a certain word track, certain sequence. I mean, people say word tracks are doo-doo or whatever, but I mean, there's a certain word track that I use, certain framework that I use to spot objections early on and use a coaching frame from there to hold them accountable and just now my whole objection handling framework is keeping them accountable. I mean, for example, like, let's say I figured out your problem real quick. It's like you want to spend more time with the kids. So, Brian, how long have you been wanting to spend more time with the kids?
I mean, quite a while.
Quite a while? Like, be more specific with me. How long?
I mean, the whole time, but I'll say especially in the last 6 months or so.
Last 6 months? What happened, like, last 6 months ago?
Nothing in particular.
Okay. Then when it comes to you wanting to, like, have more time with your kids for the last 6 months, what have you tried so far?
What have I tried so far? I mean, I just try to show up to their soccer games as much as possible.
Okay. But aside from that, also, you getting out of your job and actually spending more time with them, what have you tried also to be your own entrepreneur?
To be an entrepreneur, I mean, I've looked at YouTube videos. I'm always trying to study and see what's out there and just trying to do my research. There's a lot of fluff out there and there's a lot of weird stuff out there, so I'm kind of cautious and skeptical about it.
Okay. And watching YouTube videos, is that working for you right now?
I mean, I'm learning stuff.
Okay. Then, I mean, learning stuff and you being in your current situation right now, it's not 100% your fault, but whose problem is it to fix at the end of the day, though?
Oh, it's mine.
Okay. So knowing that it's your problem and your problem to fix, coming from extreme ownership perspective, a man of your caliber that wants to take more care of your kids, what's really slowed you down within you, though?
Slowing me down? I don't think anything's slowing me down. I just need to know a step-by-step process.
Okay. And do you feel like just watching YouTube videos would get you where you need to go instead of just doing something about it? Because why haven't you tried something, a man of your caliber, again?
I mean, I just don't know what's out there. I mean, YouTube is helping, but, you know, and I get it. Like, probably they're not going to put all the good stuff out there, right? Obviously, you got to buy a paid program for, like, how many thousands of dollars.
It sounds like you're a little bit skeptical out there.
A bit, yeah.
Where's that way of thinking coming from?
There's a lot of people that could just talk on the internet.
Can I share a different perspective if you don't mind?
Sure.
Have you ever considered that you just trying to look over YouTube and you being skeptical instead of you doing something about it has only slowed you down during the last 6 months in terms of you getting the results by now?
Maybe, yeah.
Why do you say maybe?
Oh, because as opposed to having a YouTube video, if someone who's actually good, legit, showing me what to do, how to do it, why I'm doing it, then that's gonna just speed up the whole process.
Whose responsibility is it to actually find someone to actually get the results that you want then? Because why haven't you tried to get the results, get someone that can help you out in the last 6 months then?
Well, I mean, it's my responsibility, but I still gotta make sure that I am getting myself into the right thing.
And you not doing anything the last 6 months and watching YouTube videos, which a lot of people do, how much has it cost you in terms of your time, potential, money that you could have been making so far?
Who knows?
I mean, you know. In what way, though? How much?
Probably quite a bit.
Quite a bit? In what way?
Well, I mean, if I made my business work maybe a year ago, then, I mean, who knows? No one can see the future, right? But maybe I'll be in a better position than I am now. Maybe having more free time for my family.
And why is it so important to you?
Because, man, time's of the essence. I'm going to get older. My kids are going to get older. My wife's going to get older.
And I guess for you, like, how does it make you feel knowing that if you started a business a year ago, you could have been better by now, but you're still in the same place the last 6 months, the last 14 years in a job, because you were just skeptical and just watching YouTube videos?
Yeah, I mean, again, like if I found the right thing, then yeah. But
no, but aside from finding the right thing, though, for real,
then I'll be in a better position.
Like, how does it make you feel knowing that it's you that slowed yourself down? Last 6 months, the last 14 years, staying in the same job.
I mean, I can't go back and fix the past, but if I would have started in the past and earlier, then obviously that would have been ideal.
But what happens if you keep on selling yourself short and watch YouTube videos and keep on being skeptical instead of doing something about it?
Then not much would happen.
I mean, a lot of people are okay with nothing much happening in their lives. I mean, are you okay with that, though?
Nope.
Why not, though? Because you have been settling for the last 6 months respectfully.
Yeah, but I don't want to keep doing that.
So for you, do you feel like now is the time to put a line in the sand and say, F it, it's time for me to commit? Or do you feel like you need some more time to get over your skepticism?
I mean, listen, like I am still skeptical about different things, but I know I need to do something.
Why do you feel like now is the time within you, though?
Because my kids are getting older, I'm getting older.
And I guess, are you open to me holding your hand to the higher standard so you don't have to waste another 6 months, 14 years, telling yourself that I should have started something a year ago, 2 years ago, or 3 years ago, knowing that it has cost you your time with your family?
Yes.
Why?
Because I want to get better.
In what way?
I want to make more money, man.
And do you feel like your family deserves a better version of you?
Yep.
Why?
Because they deserve better.
Then what is your higher standard? Like, what do you need to be making in the next 3 to 6 months down the road?
Okay, pause. Let's break down what we did there. So break down your thought process, why you did what you did.
Usually it doesn't go this hard. I like that. I like
became difficult.
But it's sometimes happens sometimes. My thought process behind all of the wording is how long I've been wanting to get to XYZ. It creates a gap, first of all.
Yep.
And when you said something like quite some time, I asked you, can you be more specific with me? That's me demanding a certain time frame now. Now, once I got the time frame, I asked you, what have you tried so far? Because it doesn't make sense for me, genuinely, why this person's not where he wants to be if he wanted that for 6 months or 12 years or whatever it is, right? So from there, like, I asked you, what have you tried? And then I took the conversation from, like, I'm like, it's just watching YouTube videos to having you take ownership of your current problem. And the problem was you being skeptical and you selling yourself short ultimately for the last 6 months. I asked you, what happens if you keep on doing the same way? But also at the same time, I asked you, how much has it cost you? Getting you to think, okay, this way of thinking it's just costing me time right now. I'm coming from a place of not directly telling you, but I'm coming from a place of, okay, why are you selling yourself short? And you're slowly understanding that I'm coming from a place of help here. Now, so people consequence on the future pacing, right? After the future pacing, I like to consequence both of my calls, future pace and in the pre-handling stage like this. What happens if you keep on watching YouTube videos? What happens if you keep on selling yourself short? What happens if you keep on letting your fear get in the way, right? Then that creates urgency there. That gets them thinking, okay, well, it's not working. Because I asked you, is that working for you? You're like, not really, maybe. I created doubt also, and then I just went straight in, you know? And then I asked you, are you open to me holding your hand to the higher standard? I don't know if that's grammatically making
Probably
sense.
not, but
Probably
who cares?
not. Whatever, who cares?
Yeah.
But I asked you that because now I'm going to use that in my objection handling. Because I'm going to have you do something that you're not comfortable with. Because you have been making comfortable decisions overall. And then when I future pace someone, now I'm asking, what is your higher standard? What do you need to be making in the next 3 to 6 months for you and your kids, you know? So that is my whole process in terms of how I pre-handle objections and how I insert urgency at the same time.
Yeah.
I don't ask, why is it so important to you now? I ask them, do you feel like now's the time to get over your skepticism and actually do something about it? Or do you feel like you need to have some more time to get over it? And at that point, it's like they all the time give me like, now's the time, and then just go straight up and say, like, why do you feel like now's the time within you? Because I want an internal answer. Like, I don't want answers like, oh, because time is ticking, or we're all gonna get old. That's complete bullshit. And when you told me, well, I'm losing time with my family, that was it for me, you know, for a prospect like you. So that was the whole thought process behind it. One more thing is I asked you what slowed you down. The reason why I asked you what slowed you down instead of what a lot of people like to ask what's prevented you from getting the results that you want. I learned this from a live video from Eli. He said instead of asking what's prevented you because it triggers resistance, and it's like, nothing prevented me. Nothing's getting in the way. You want to ask what slowed you down. It will get you the same outcome, but way softened language. You're still challenging the prospect. And when I applied that also, I was like, oh, I don't really get, oh, nothing's really slowing me down in my calls, at least. And one more thing that I also do on top of what I've done is I tell you, hey, you're a responsible man. You have 2 kids, you're taking care of 2 kids, like you have a job. But what's really slowed you down within you? Man of your caliber. So I stroke your ego, but I challenge it directly right away. So it's being more receptive rather than being counterintuitive or counterpart or
like butting heads.
Yeah, rather than being conflicting.
Yeah.
I'm just telling them I'm working with you here. But it doesn't make sense for a man of your caliber that is that responsible to not get the results that you want. What about you?
No, that was good. And to be fair, I was being difficult on purpose because
You always like to be difficult and
course.
hard.
more difficult the better, just like the Dubai girls.
The harder the better, you know.
Exactly, just like the girls in Dubai. We like to be difficult. So. But yeah, that was I like the part where you're kind of stroking their ego, but also you get the job done. I just saw a video from Josh Sweetenham. Shout out to Josh. Josh is like really good at that also, because you're selling to real estate agents at Sirhan with Will Autumns. So he's like, oh, dude, you're crushing it, man. Like you're such a man of this caliber. Like what slowed you down?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. It's confusing, you know, and because it's a podcast setting, like, you know, you feel the nerves getting in. I know people will be watching this, but as you're giving me, like, I didn't expect that much of a hard answer. But the thing is, I'm experienced enough. When things get hard, I just calm the fuck down.
Yep.
I just calm the fuck down and not panic and just slow it down, you know. If you stutter.
Yep.
But slow the fuck down. Everything's going to be okay.
Yeah. I was doing a training call yesterday, and we are doing a role play, and one of the guys was in a role play. He was getting like, shit. I was like, what's going on, buddy? He's like, I'm getting frustrated. Why are you getting frustrated? Because I don't know what to say. I'm like, as a salesperson, you cannot get flustered. Yeah. So Matt Ryder told me this. He said, as a salesperson, you're not allowed to feel flustered. Yep. And you cannot have the awkward gene.
Yep.
Like, you got to stay calm the fuck down in any situation, because you being flustered or you getting frustrated on the sales call, how does it help the sale?
Doesn't.
And
there was one point where I was holding on to the stage for like 7 minutes with a lady because she would not understand. She wouldn't just like put responsibility to everyone else. So what I did was, hey, and when she actually claimed her own responsibility, saying it's my fault, it was my fear, I just gave her a quick dopamine rush real quick and say, hey, a lot of people out there like to blame it on something else, like the government, their parents, or the lack of money, the lack of inflation, whatever. But at least for you, you like to take extreme ownership. You like to be honest with yourself. And that's what successful people do. They take extreme ownership instead of blaming it on someone else. So I want to acknowledge you that. But with you thinking that way, though, and having that way of thinking, like, how much has it cost you during the last 2 years? Time with your family, the potential that you could have been where you're at right now, or the money you could be making. And I extremely slowed down. But again, that is my process. How do you pre-handle, or how do you like to pre-handle?
There's different ones. So typically, I like the part where, okay, so before this conversation, what have you been doing about starting your business and making more money? What have you been doing about that, about goal? And then they'll give you different answers, right? I've tried this. I've been just looking around, so on and so forth. So a common one I got in either BizOp or at 7 sales training was YouTube videos. And the interesting part is that especially salespeople, and also 9-to-5 people too, but they'll think that them watching YouTube videos and just reading books is just like changing their life. They're like, oh man, I'm always looking to like see what's out there, learning, educating. So what have you been doing?
So let's do that actually. So yeah, Brian, the last 2 years, nothing much. Just watching YouTube videos. I'm learning every single day, improving 1% every single day. I feel like I'm getting better, and my mindset is getting better, at the same time.
I mean, YouTube's good. Don't get me wrong, but if YouTube was enough, I'd have a 9-figure passive income and a 6-pack and 9 supermodel girlfriends, right?
That's very politically correct, because I know what you actually say.
It's a very PC answer. The real one we cannot say here. Let's just say it starts with 9, and then you can
starts with a D.
Yeah.
Ends with the
I learned it from Matt, but Matt would say shit like that. It's like, bro, he would say it a lot more aggressive than I do. It's like, bro, YouTube wasn't up. I had a 9-inch dick.
Okay. Are we getting canceled now?
We'll bleep it out.
Okay. We'll
editor. Yeah, whoever becomes my editor next.
Yeah.
But he'll say that, and then I asked him, I was like, would you really say that? It's like, yes.
Okay. So getting back to the point is, okay, yeah, I've been watching YouTube videos trying to get 1% better, and I feel like I'm getting better.
Bro, if YouTube was enough, I'd have a 6-pack and a 9-figure passive income by now. So besides YouTube, what have you actually proactively doing about you starting this business and spending more time with your family?
YouTube, that's it. YouTube.
Just
University.
YouTube. Yeah. Can I offer a perspective?
Sure.
Because if YouTube was enough, we'd all be millionaires, right? So have you ever considered that you just being on the YouTube University, but not taking proactive action towards your goals, actually cause you to be at the position you're in now, not spending time with your family?
I think so.
You think so?
I think so, yeah.
How so?
I mean, just watching YouTube videos. I mean, I haven't really started yet.
Yeah. So what happens if you just keep watching YouTube videos? For another 6 months, 12 months, another 2 years?
I'll just probably accumulate more knowledge and just never really do anything, though.
What happens then?
If I never start, nothing's going to happen.
Okay. You okay with that?
No.
Okay. So what do you feel like needs to change within yourself, brother? Because if you're not willing to change, take more proactive actions, then we're not your champ. So what do you feel like needs to change within yourself?
Well, I need to do something then.
Okay. So time to make a change possible.
Time to make a change.
Cool, man. Yeah. So that's a simpler version, right? Sometimes I'll put up a fight. There was this one call. I'm kind of mad because it got deleted when I left 7th. It was on a Zoom recording, and I showed this to one person, but the link got like destroyed. But essentially, the person was being he and I are on good terms now because he eventually bought, and I think I upsold him to something, I remember. But he was being so vague. He's like, yeah, man, I already got a coach, and I just wanted to see what you guys have.
I think you've watched, show me that video also, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
And going back to what I did on this call and what you did well on that role play is that you actually didn't take their vague answer or them not answering the question at face value. You didn't move on, right? So you like stayed there. It's like, okay, but what? You just kept asking the question, right, until they answered it.
Yeah.
So with this person, yeah, I got another coach. So I mean, see what you guys have. It's like, that's great, man. But like, what's going on in your current life, your job, sales? Just insert whatever, or your coach that had you looking for some outside help. And I'll be like, yeah, I just want to see what's out there. Yeah, but like, people don't just hop on a 1 hour call with a complete stranger from the internet for no reason, right? I'm sure you're a busy guy. We're all busy. So what's going on? And I kept digging and digging for like 4 or 5 times, like giving different examples. And at that point, he was like, you know what? With what I'm learning with my current coach, I'm getting this, but I'm lacking this. That makes sense.
And on top of that, I remember that call actually because he was saying, I just want to get more information. But you and I know that doesn't make sense because you're already working with a coach, and you as a salesperson, you showed up to the call as well just for more information when you have a coach. Like, you smell something. There's something wrong. And the guy was giving, like, I'm just here for more information. I'm just here to compare him. I'm like, that doesn't make sense. And what I liked about that call is that I don't think I could do it I don't think it applies for BizOp. Maybe it does to a certain extent because I love selling to salespeople also, and I use a lot of congruency frame also when a salesperson comes in. You use the salesperson, sales congruency, I think, also in terms of, well, how many people say that in your call or something like that? And it's like,
this is totally not applicable to like everyone watching this because it only applies to selling. The thing about selling salespeople is that you can just pull shit out of your pocket that you cannot do when you're selling anything else because you can break the fourth wall. So I'll say like, okay, so let's say a prospect hopped on your call and then they told you the same thing. It was like, hey man, I got a call. I just want to see what information I have, what you guys have. What's going through your mind? What would you say to that? They was like, that doesn't make any sense. Right. So what's going on here? This is not totally applicable to any situation. Yeah.
But because like I told you and you told me as well is I've basically stuck in the frame for that framework for 7 minutes or 10 minutes, and I would not move on until that person stops making excuses. I'll call it out also, and people still don't understand at times. And I would fight with them, not fight against, fight with them to make sure that they understand that it's their shortcoming at the end of the day. They are selling themselves short. There's something missing, and they haven't done anything about it also. Like in terms of following a course that they had, or like just not really having the balls enough to really do something about it. And just thinking for the last 2 years. Like, I mean, you and I both have experience, and I think you've seen me in a call where I'm talking with this lady and she was telling me that she wants to start like in falls. I was like, why start in falls when you booked a call today? And exactly the same line is like, well, you don't seem like a random person that'll book random conversation out of your own precious time. You booked a call with me here today. You know what's going on. So why are you looking to push this off till fall? Just so I can help. And the whole conversation started from there. I uncovered that it was just she being comfortable. And she thought she could not start a business while she was on vacation, which I logically told her she can actually do something. She can start a business within her own passion, within what she's good at, for 1 hour a day consistently, even while she's on vacation. And that totally like demolished her own way of thinking. Oh, I don't actually have to start in fall. I can start right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The important part about being able to pre-handle and handle objection is that you got to be the one living it as a salesperson. And this is going back to the congruency frame. I don't just say that as a frame, as a line on a sales script.
It's a belief system.
It's actually how we do it, right? Because whenever you and I are on a sales call, we're there to buy. We ain't got time to fuck around. Let's do this. You know what I mean? There was one time, you know, that one program that we both bought, and then the salesperson was like, "Yeah, man, so yeah, go and think about it, and then I'll send you more information." He was the one saying that to me. I was a prospect. He was a salesperson. He's like, "Yeah, man, I'll send you more information. Don't make a decision right now. Go think about it, and then just you know, reply back to me if you want to do it." I'm like, "Dude, how do I pay? Like, what do you what do you mean go think about it?"
I think you doing that actually crushed his belief in terms of sales because you referred me to that program. And thanks, Brian, for no, I'm just kidding. No, so you referred me to that program, and the guy came in, and then he was like objection handling with me on my call actually, because I didn't know who the business owner was. I didn't know anything about the business. I just came in the call because you told me to. I didn't have time to do the research. Didn't do my due diligence. Just hopped in the call. I was like, "Hey, I haven't done the due diligence. I'll just put $500 down payment." He was like, "Well, if you're gonna," Brian started that one.
Oh,
I don't know if you did it intentionally or not, but Brian started. I was
Sizzle.
like, "Okay, what's the lowest payment plan then?" Okay, I'll go with that first of all and do my research within the course then rather. And that's how I got started, you know.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yep. So, what was I gonna say? Yeah. So it goes back to you gotta be the one living it. So if you are the person that believes that you need to wait for the quote unquote perfect time to start something, then when a prospect gives you a time objection, it's like, "Hey, I think I'm gonna start after fall after." Then how could you overcome that objection? You just can't.
True. And one biggest lesson that I've learned in Dubai as I'm hanging out with a lot of crypto nerds. Shout out to Abdul, by the way.
Shout out to Abdul.
Abdul, yeah. I sat down on a dinner table with him. He was telling me, we were just talking, chit-chatting, and then he was talking that, saying something like, money isn't real. And I was like, what do you mean? Well, if you really want to make some big bucks, you have to think like this is all game money. Like, for example, like if I want to buy Cristiano Ronaldo in a FIFA game, let's say, I won't be like, "Ooh, I'll just buy it. You know, it's game money. I don't care. It's not real money." But we have to look at money that way. Like, it's not real money at the end of the day. It's just numbers in our bank account. And the moment we just hold on to it, the moment we're just staying where we're at right now. It can be a coaching program, I don't know, meme coin, whatever it is there. But what I found out, the heavy hitters look at money as very, very different. And that's where I told you I'm willing to risk it all this year. And you've seen it also in my personal life as well. I've risked it all, you know.
Yeah. That's the interesting thing, because when you're in quote unquote scarcity mode, when someone's not making much money, then they're just so stressed out. I see it in people, in prospects, or like clients that I've coached, or people that doesn't know. People that are not making much money, don't have that much money. They're just so like tense and scarce about it. And that's what actually holds them back more, because they're just fucking trying to hold on to that damn thing. Dude, you have nothing to fucking hold on to.
And you have nothing to lose also, especially if you don't have kids. Like, for example, what will you do if you're given like 100K just instantly to you as like a free gift?
Go buy a Lambo. Can you buy a Lambo?
Well, I mean, you can do that if you want to, but I mean,
go to the strip club.
That wasn't the point, really. But that's the point Abdul was making, is that if you want to make $1 million, you have to know to risk 100K also. And in order for you to risk 100K, you have to think like it's given to you instead of you earning it also. And I'm not saying to be reckless with your money or anything like that, but you have to understand that at the end of the day, if you really want to be a heavy hitter, you have to know that there are some points where you have to risk it all. There is one point where if you want to really reach that $1 million, $2 million, $3 million.
Yep. What would you say to people? Because I know there's some angry Sally listening to this, and they're like, "Oh, is it for you guys to say you guys are privileged or you guys have more money? I don't have much money because I'm from this neighborhood." Da, 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 da. What would you say to them?
I mean, I was blessed with a single mom, and she was taking care of all my expenses. So, I do. What, her name was Sally? I do agree with her in a way. Know. Like, I mean,
just imaginary character.
Yeah.
Karen.
That's the name. I mean, it could be also because if it wasn't for my mom, I'll be working in a construction site.
Really?
And who knows? I'll still be working in a construction site. If it wasn't for her, who knows that I would take the bet to be a closer or do online businesses, you know. So in a way, I have this ultimate gratitude, infinite gratitude towards my mom because she was the one, after my father passed away 12 years ago, she was the one that was taking care of the household, like the finances, like cooking, everything. So am I privileged? I think so, honestly.
Yeah.
I am. Like, if it wasn't for her, like, I still did 2-3 part-time jobs after I got discharged from the office job, the military.
Don't call it a military, bro. You just had an office job.
Yeah, office.
But you work at a internet PC cafe.
Exactly. So I worked in, I worked in a very convenient, but it's still, I mean, it's still considered the military, social services, whatever it's called. So
don't even.
I gave my 2 years, right? And you gave your 2 years to the military as well. After I got discharged, I still did like 2 part-time jobs, working like 8 to 10 hours a day. But the thing is, I never had to work like 16, 18 hours a day, unlike the other underprivileged kids, I would say. So in that way, I am definitely privileged.
Okay.
But what do you have to say to, I guess, Karen's for you personally?
I mean, my honest thought process when I hear that is okay. And then I kind of don't think it's relevant. It doesn't matter if but it's bro, it's hard, but like you don't understand my situation. I'm this and this and this. Nobody fucking cares.
Yeah, your results don't care about your feelings, and that's a favorite phrase that I use in my objection handling also.
Yeah. And I can put some people off just because I can be so direct and so quote unquote unempathetic because I'm a quote unquote sociopath. But whenever someone gives some kind of excuse, it's like, that's why I had to work so hard to quote unquote empathize with people, because I like so much empathy. Because if someone's like, yeah, but I'm from the hood, because I'm this situation. How does that matter with anything? It just, you still have to do the same thing that everyone else has to fucking do. You may even have to do more things. So you're not going to do it because you have to do more because it's hard. You got to put in more hours because you got a 9-to-5 job or this situation, that situation. Nobody fucking cares.
Well, also, one more thing is, if you didn't know, it's not a sin. That's what my mom said. If you didn't know, it's not a sin. But the worst thing is you know, but you're not doing something about it. Like, if you're going to do it the right way once and for all. Like, don't just tiptoe and be like, oh, I'll just see how it goes. If you're going to do it the fucking right way once and for all. Like, for example, like just getting sidetracked here, like content creation. Whenever I see on Facebook, I see people I could just smell it just right away. And you could probably also, is people posting for the sake of posting. I think the reason why, like, you and I are making some moves in social media and people slowly recognizing us and feeds our narcissism and ego.
I mean, we are narcissists. So.
We are celebrities.
Egotists.
No, but it's because we put intention behind our content. It's like real shit. But for a lot of people, it's just a duty every single day. And I smell it. But again, if you're gonna do something, why not just do it the right way? Once and for all. Don't half-ass it.
And there's two sides to that, because Gary Vee has a saying, and there's a lot of things I like about Gary Vee and a lot of things that I don't really agree. But he has a saying which is 1 is always greater than 0. So what that means is that a lot of people think it's either 0 or 100. It's like, dude, like someone's maybe listening to this, they get an objection. It's like, dude, I just want to, like, when I do things, I like to go all in. That's why I'm going to wait until the fall, 3 months later.
Yep.
But whenever I get that, I'm always like, have you heard of the saying, like, 1 is always greater than 0?
Yeah.
And they're like, no. What that means is that a lot of people think that they need to have X, Y, Z, all the perfect conditions in order to start something, take action on their goals, make a change in their life. What they don't understand is doing something is better than nothing.
Let me correct myself, because I do agree with that. But if I say something on top of that, is doing something is better. But if you keep on getting stuck with that mindset of doing something is better than nothing and just post content for the sake of, or objection handling for the sake of objection handling, how far can the mindset get you like really good? Because it can get you started, but can it get you consistent? Can it get you really good?
Yep.
So again, I mean, take it with a grain of salt. That's what my mom told me, is if you're gonna do something, just do it the right way. Like, just start doing it the right way. And I agree with you, because when Marco did one-on-one with me, I was showing him a call where the guy was like, I'll do it later. And Marco was like, why not, hey, June. you know Marco's coaching style. June.
John.
He was calling me John or John or something like that, whatever. And he was calling me John, and he was like, why don't you actually say, why not just be 1% better every single day rather than just trying to be 100% better in the next 1 month? And now I use that in my pre-handling sequence also. Whenever I see someone that has a perspective of, oh, I'm gonna do stuff when the stars align.
Yep.
Or when I'm gonna do stuff when
doesn't fucking exist. Like when the perfect
when Christmas
comes,
hits,
bro.
Is that the reason why you're here?
Yep.
Is that the reason why it slowed you down? And does your family deserve that way of thinking? Because how much longer do they need to see this version of you keep on procrastinating? And do you want to be that role model? Do they deserve that? And do you deserve that? And you being able to provide more for a family, is that worth you getting started, taking a bet on yourself so that you can actually be more for them?
Yeah.
What is your why, actually?
Oh, man. Do we have time for this? Because I think we have time for this. We can go like a whole another hour. But to
Let's
kind
make
of...
it concise, though.
No, man. Longer the better.
The longer the better.
The longer the better. But to add to what you're talking about is, especially on a sales call context, the 1% better, that 1 is greater than 0 frame tends to work well, whether pre-handling or handling, just because for a lot of people, they're just so afraid of getting started. And so if you just get them started, the hardest part about going to the gym, this is another frame, right? The hardest part about going to the gym and working out isn't the workout part, is getting off the couch. The first step is the most difficult part. Why? Because someone's been living life in a certain way that they're comfortable with. And human beings, evolutionarily speaking, we're not designed to make changes. We're only designed in our genetics, in our DNA, to survive, preserve energy, survive, and procreate. That's all it is, right? And so that's why change is so hard, and a lot of people are so afraid to make that on a sales call. So if you just get them to a state, it's like, dude, like getting off the bed or the couch is the most difficult part. But once you're at the gym door, you'll do the fucking workout. It may not be the best workout, but next day you become better, like what you're saying. But the first step is the most difficult part.
It is.
Yeah. My why. I think there's a lot of parts to this, but, and I tell this to my prospects too on my sales calls, but when I was maybe like 10, 12, I was going to school in America for a little bit, for high school and middle school for like 3-4 years. And during that time, I was on the basketball team, I was on the track team, and I tried different sports. I think I even tried soccer, but I never was quote unquote good. So I was always the bench warmer, right? And so because in that time, it didn't hit me that much, but looking back, I was like, man, like why couldn't I have done better? And so I think that drives me in a sense that we had a podcast with Anthony the other day. And I asked him, so what drives you, Anthony? He said, well, I can't be number 2. I have to be number 1. I go, why not number 2? I don't know, man. I just can't be number 2. I have to be number 1. I think I have the same mentality. And the thing is, it's not like you have to be number 1 in the sense that like it's number 1 or like you die. Because when I was on 7th, for the entire year of 2023, that was my first full year in sales. For the entire year, my number 1 goal, it wasn't an income goal. My goal wasn't to make 20K a month. My goal wasn't to travel all around the world. My goal wasn't to even retire my parents, nothing. My number 1 goal of that entire year to beat Yash and be number 1 in 7th level leaderboard. That was my number 1, like my purpose of existence. Looking back, I'm like, well, that's kind of fucking stupid. But during the time, so because of that, and that stems from quote unquote childhood shit, which is, man, I wish I would have done better. I wish I was better and gotten recognized, because I feel like I didn't get recognized in middle school and high school. And so because I have that, I was like, you know, someone asked me the other day, hey, what was the most proud sales call, a sale that you made? And I told them it wasn't on a sales call, because that day I think I had about 8 sales call booked. And because my show up rate was so fucking good, I think I had like 6 people show up. None of them closed. And so just imagine you're handling these people's objection like all day long for 8 hours straight and nothing happening. And I told myself, and I was in Dubai, I'm still in Dubai, but Dubai time zone, after all my calls, it was like midnight or 1 a.m. So I could have went to bed, but that day I told myself, no, I'm gonna close a fucking deal. And so what do? I go in the CRM, I go CRM hunting, right? So I'm like, okay, no sales list, call them, referrals, trying to upsell people, nothing's happening.
Yeah.
My eyes are getting tired, they're dry. Man, I'm like, fuck, I want to go to bed. I'm drowsy, right? I'm like, no, man, I'm not going to bed until I close a deal. And so what I did was eventually I sent out a text blast, I called up some people, and then I made an upsell for like 8K or 12K. So after I put through the sales form, it wasn't like, oh yeah, I did it. But I was like, yep, I did it. And then I passed the fuck out after putting through the sales form. But I did that all through that because I wanted to be number one. I wanted to be the best of the best.
Yeah.
What about you?
I never really cared about being the best, really. I think, in my opinion, I think it stems from me 12 years ago. 12 years ago? Yeah, 12 years ago when my father passed away. Like, looking back, my biggest regret is I wish my dad spent more time with me, right? I wish my dad spent more time with me. I wish I had created more memory. I respect the heck out of my dad because he was the type of guy that would work like 10 hours, 7 days a week with the most unstable schedule also, working from like 4 p.m. to 2 a.m., drinking coffee, getting stressed out, teaching people, also teaching kids also, which is highly stressful, and he's very, very competitive. So again, like coming back to the point is I wish I spent more time with him. So my whole thought process was how can I actually spend more time with the people that is remaining now? Because I lost 4 family members during the last 12 years. And no one said, I wish I worked harder, but everyone kind of said, I miss the times, really, right? So for me, it wasn't really about, again, like competing with someone. It was like, how do you make sure I take care of my mom, my brother, the people around me, like you guys also. I mean, you don't have to be taken care of, but
pay for my rent, daddy.
Exactly.
I need a sugar daddy.
I mean,
taking
I'm giving you sugar here, but for the ladies out there. But again, my circle, I want to make sure that they're taken care of, and that's my why. Really, I told you the story, right? 6 years ago, I thought the only way to get better, because I was programmed that I can never be an entrepreneur by my mom. Like, it wasn't her fault. It's just that me and my dad are, my mom and my dad, they're very conservative in terms of doing business because they're both teachers. So she told me, hey, June, you have my genes. You're never meant to be an entrepreneur.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's not coming from a place of hatred or anything. Yeah. It's just coming from a place of love and taking care, because one of her grandpas also killed himself because of stocks or so she was concerned about me, and I was just working 2 part-time jobs, 3 part-time jobs, trying to make 1K, 2K a month. And then I watched this YouTube video from Sifu Dan Lok, and I was like, oh. So a lot of people, I think he's a net positive at the end of his sales course is absolute shit, but he got me, he got me opening up in terms of, there is potential for me to make more money, even when I'm not meant to. Open my eyes in terms of that. Second of all, I saw his YouTube video about the Bugatti clothes or the Bentley clothes. Hey, do you want to be Hyundai or do you want to be Bentley? And I was amazed. Oh. Because I was like, oh, you can take someone from no to I want to be a Bugatti or I want to be a Bentley. Oh. And let's do this. The art of persuasion was so beautiful in my eyes. And I was like, I want to learn that, invest in that course. And after all, that's really history. And that's what really drove me. I always make sure that I spend time with my mom. On the weekends, I never work. Or there were times that I did work, but I made sure that it doesn't really affect my family time, because I don't know about you, but in my deathbed, I'm definitely not going to be talking about, oh, I took this sales calls and I should have taken more sales calls. I would definitely be talking about, I'm glad that I was able to take care of my family, retire my mom, being able to take my brother to the best place, or getting like the best education possible, being a role model for them. I think that's my why, really. And I think that's why I never take a call personal. But when I'm in the call, the reason why I care and the reason why I'm going hard on the accountability is because, and you know me, because when I'm on a call, I tend to not let go of them. And you're the same also. You and I are both the same. I think your drive is being number one also. My drive is, like, I wish someone told me that there is another way to my dad 12 years ago. I wish. Because I'm thinking, if there was another way, would my dad still be with me till this day? But he just didn't know a better way. And there was no one keeping him accountable. Like, because you know the Korean society, right? Like, being an entrepreneur, like, it's just meant for being entrepreneurs, like, born, like, natural born entrepreneurs. Like, 9 to 5 people, they don't even think of starting their own business, you know?
Yep.
So my dad didn't know a better way. And I'm thinking, like, if he knew a better way, if he did take a bet and if everything worked out and he wasn't able to work and he didn't have to be working like 10 hours, 7 days a week without any vacation, I'm thinking, would he have less stress where he could have stayed with me because he never drank, he never smoked a single cigarette in his life, you know? He was a very religious man.
But it was his work schedule and
it was
lifestyle.
his work schedule and his stress and everything, and I think that's what really killed him.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, it's like, because I know that deep down my dad might not have deserved that. I don't deserve that as a son. My single mom, my brother, they don't deserve that as well. So that's why I'm telling people, hey, look at your family. Do they deserve this version of you right now? Because you can do more for them. Look at 10 years, 1 year from now. What more can you do for them? Then I say the begging method, right? It's like, I'm not joking though. I'm begging them to take a bet on themselves, to back themselves enough, to really do something about it, because I don't want another June in this world, really, where they're becoming victims of stressful work schedule from their parents. And do you have enough time for the calculator close?
Well, just to add to that, I don't think so. But just to add to that, I mean, that's why you just stick in there, don't give up on it. And sales calls are such powerful moments because, so Dan Lok program, that was your first high ticket investment, right? Yeah. So my first high ticket investment was a dating seminar, and it was to fly out to Las Vegas, and then you stay there for like 2 weeks, 4 weeks, and then all you do is like go out every day and like talk to girls and like.
Was it a boot camp?
You could call it a boot camp. They call it an immersion, right?
Okay.
So it's basically you fly out there and then you take like these lessons, like, hey, here's how to talk to girls. Here's how to talk to like network with other like successful people in like Vegas and like all this kind of stuff. But the sales call itself was such a powerful moment because I don't think the sales guy was terrible. I don't think he was that great. But I remember I was in college and I was like 19, 20 at the time. I think 20, about to turn 21. And I'm sitting in my dorm room. It's like I was paying like $300 a month for that because I was sitting with like 2 other roommates. I didn't even have a bed. I have an air mattress or like a mattress, and then I'm sitting on my dorm room floor, no furniture. And it was a Skype call. That's how long it was. It wasn't a Zoom call, it was a Skype call. And at that time, he's like, yeah, man, so it's 2K. And I froze, and then I had that moment where like, I'm like this, and like moments are flashing by my eyes. I'm like, 2K. Because I was broke as shit. And it was like my first ever like high ticket one. And so I visually saw in my brain, one path was like, if I don't do this, what will happen? If I do this, what will happen? If I don't do this, it wasn't a specific image, but it was like gloomy and like dark and like raining or some shit for a city. And I visually saw it. And then another part was like rainbows and like fucking unicorns and shit, right? So I was like literally pulling my hair like, dude, I don't know, man, da-da-da-da-da. And I don't remember the exact objection I gave him, but I'm glad that he stuck on there. He was so calm, I remember. And he was just sitting there. He's like, hey, man, da-da-da-da. He was saying, I don't even remember what he said, but he calmly stuck there. I was like, okay, dude, I don't have the 2K, but let me put down something. So I put down $500, and then after that, I somehow came up with the fucking money. So I asked like parents.
Wait, you're a broke college kid from Asia getting funded by your parents. How did you come up with that?
I had $500. I don't remember how. I don't remember why. I don't remember why. But I had the $500, and then I think after that, I asked my parents or my friends or like whatever else I did. Shit. So I did that, and then I somehow came up with the other 1.5K plus flights and like hotel and everything. I don't know. I don't remember how. But the point is that if you, going back to what you're talking about, what Anthony was talking about, if you have an actual strong reason why, as overused that term is, but you'll go find, like the how will happen. And I hate saying it that way just because it's just so overused in our industry, in our world. But it's just, you'll find a way.
Cliche is cliche for a reason, though.
Yeah.
Cliche is cliche for a reason.
Yeah.
And whatever it takes is the mindset that you want to embody at the end of the day. If you really want to make it, if you're comfortable with where you're at right now, which there's nothing wrong with that, be comfortable. But you don't have to impose that belief to someone else, or neither. We don't have to impose our beliefs to someone else, because for us, investing in those whatever, like, I don't know if that was a good
Dude,
course.
that was probably one of the best investments.
Oh,
at least the one it changed my fucking life. Not because of like the seminar itself was awesome, but probably like you can attest to this too, is that it's a gateway drug, and then you get you started in that world, investing in yourself. The first one you do, it may not be the best program or the best investments, but later on it's like, okay, let me try another one. Okay, let me try that for a while. This was awesome. It did work, didn't work. Either way, man, you fucking try. Like that's another frame I do with a pre-handling or handling. Either way, you fucking tried. And isn't that better than being on your deathbed and looking back and being like, oh man, what if? That's more painful to me.
Exactly. Like, I mean, I know what it feels like to regret about something, as I said. And like, my favorite frame when it comes to objection handling is, I mean, what's the worst case scenario, really? You investing 5K, what's the worst case scenario? What's the best case scenario? Like you investing in like those courses or inner circle, for example. The worst case scenario is just you just losing a few $1,000, which seems like a lot. What's the upside to it though? If you really just take a bet on yourself and back yourself enough. And if it doesn't work out, give up then. If you're so scared, if you don't trust yourself enough, because Marco said it right. Also, it's like it's not about whether you tried or not. It's how many times you've tried to get to where you want to go.
Yep.
Like you and I invested in a lot of programs, courses. Many times it never worked out. So what? Like Marco literally says it, and I say it in the call. So what? Give up? Go give up then. Don't even start then. But we all know that we didn't come this far just to come this far. We all know that deep down we can do more. And if you want to blame it on, oh, it was the course like manipulative, or it's like selling the dream, I think you're just being politically correct.
Yep.
Because, I mean, the action itself of you taking a bet on yourself and really doing something about it, that changes your trajectory, even if it's a good program or not.
I think most of the times it comes with lack of self-conviction in themselves.
Yep.
Because if they strongly, like, I am a type of person that figures things out, therefore I'll figure this one out, people just lack that. That's why they have so much fear.
Yeah. But the thing is, the biggest entrepreneurs, I watched a podcast from Michael Saylor. He's a big guy in the Bitcoin industry, and Abdul told me to watch about him, and I was like watching his podcast from Impact Theory, and the guy had multiple threats from like companies like Excel or Microsoft, like threatening his existence, actually taking all the pressure. Like these big companies saying like, oh, you're a $2 million company? Well, we're this, so we're going to crush you. Double this company every single year. I'm imagining that pressure that he's feeling. Still made it out, though. If you didn't make it out, who gives a fuck, though?
Yep.
It's your life. It's just, at the end of the day, money is not real. You can always make it back. You can always lose it all. But ultimately, if you're willing to take a bet on yourself, there's no way you cannot make it work. At least that's my belief system.
Yep.
And I think like your belief system is also pretty much firm. Like just invest. Just take a bet. But I mean, you can attest for yourself. Like, what do you think though?
I mean, it's just going for it because I'm human too, so I have the fears and the doubts that other people might have. You know, although I may come off as a sociopath or psychopath, I don't think I am one. Maybe I am. Who knows? But I'm like, I ain't got time. It's a very interesting concept because your situation, like what you went through with your father, and we have a different perspective on time, right? Because your perspective on time is that because you had a limited amount of time with your father, it's like, okay, so me on my deathbed, what's more important to me is spending more time with my family, right? Which is what gives you that urgency and that drive. When I was 21, so I have a different death story, which is when I was 21, I had a best friend from high school that died when he was 20.
Yeah.
And when I was at his funeral, a lot of people say, hey, tomorrow's not guaranteed, so live your life to the fullest. Blah, blah, blah. We all hear that from a motivational quote. But when you're walking in, you get a text that morning that, hey, come to this address, and it's an address of a funeral home. You're like, what the fuck? You go there, and then as you're walking through the hallway, you hear sorrow and despair getting louder and louder and louder. You walk into the room, and people on the floor just bawling their eyes out. You're looking at your dear best friend in his casket, all pale. It hits you different.
Yeah.
And so that day, I didn't even cry. Not a single tear shed. Not because I wasn't sad. I was just emotionless on that day. I was just emotionless. So I had no tears. And so shocked, disbelief, emotionless. And so when I look back at that, so I could literally die tomorrow. And we all kind of know that, but I saw it and I felt it. I was there. So that's what gives me like, oh, like I just got to get after it. I ain't got time. I just got to get after it. Because if I don't, it's like the more time I waste, it's like, dude, like I don't know what's going to happen. So I just got to give it my all.
I think you told me that your friend wanted to be like a singer or a musician.
He wanted to be the best singer-songwriter in the country. And I respect him, and I truly believe that right now he's in heaven playing his fucking guitar right now, because every day in high school, man, he'd bring his fucking guitar in the back of the room during the break in between classes. He plays fucking guitar, and he loved this singer-songwriter called Damien Rice. So I think he's like an Irish or UK singer-songwriter. Yeah. And he plays song all the time, and everyone knew, right? My friend, his name's Chinwon. Chinwon is just like his like Damien Rice like diehard fan. And so Chinwon would say, oh, one day I'm gonna play guitar with Damien Rice.
Yeah.
And all the other classmates, kids at school, they're like, oh, that's awesome. They weren't laughing at him, but they just thought he was kind of joking. He's like, yeah, dude, no way. Because like, he's a pretty big singer-songwriter in the space. Yeah. And one day, Damien Rice has a concert in Korea, in Busan, which is a beach city. And so my friend was like, I'm going to go there. They're like, oh, that's fun, man. He's like, yeah, so after his concert, I'm going to play a song with him. And everyone's like, how are you going to play a song with him? Like, he's going to go to his hotel. He's going to have security guards. I don't know. I'll figure it out. So you go to his concert, and then he somehow finds this fucking guy. No one knows how. But he finds this guy, and my friend doesn't even speak English, right? Like, he knows like a few words. So he goes up to the guy. He's like, oh, Damian, big fan. Damian. Guitar, play. And Damian was like, what the fuck? Yeah, sure. So he sits down, plays a song together, and everyone's like, isn't that Damien Rice? Dude, that's Damien Rice. And then who's that kid? I don't know. Everyone surrounds him, like taking videos. And then later, the next day, my friend's profile picture was him and Damien Rice playing guitar in the middle of in the street. And I'm like, dude, you fucking went for it, man. Yeah. You fucking went for it and made it happen. And for that, I believe he has zero regrets. And I respect that. And I want to do the same thing.
And like I said, we have different perspectives because like the time that I spend with my loved ones, like for you, it's like, who can I actually become? And if I don't become that person, then I know that I will regret it. Because that kid also, like your friend Chinon, he could have been a really damn good singer by now, a really recognized one. But he couldn't because, I mean, he's gone now, you know?
Yep.
And it's like for you, I can be someone one day, but not seeing that as it's just I don't deserve that. I want to do more, you know. But also at the same time, I think what's the same perspective for you and I is it's at the end of the day, who do I want to be remembered by, myself or the people around me? And that's how I future pace also in my calls is, what is your higher standard? What will that money do for you? And in our deathbed, we're not going to be talking about how much money we've made, but we're going to talking about the memories of our family and who you're remembered as by our family. Like, what will you want to do with your family? What would that mean to you? And I ask, who do you want to be remembered as at the end of the day, in the next 1 year, 2 years, or in your deathbed by your family? And for me, because I've asked that question before I asked that question to prospect, for me, I want to be remembered as my mom always called me, hey, June, you're going to be my helper. You're going to be my helper. It's from a Bible quote, I think. You're going to be my helper. You're going to be my guardian. And that's how I identify myself. And that's where I make the decision based of, is that is my identity. I'm a helper of my mom and my family. And that's who I want to be remembered as. Because in my deathbed, I cannot imagine myself thinking like, oh, shoot. Like now, like because of the hospital fees and everything, my mom is gonna go back to work and have to grind all of this, you know? Like I can never imagine that. So that's why I need to make sure I do everything in my might. And that's why I need to make sure that the people that get on my call at least feel me, at least know where I'm coming from. That is where my conviction comes from. Because in terms of conviction, I don't think this might be me being delusional, but I think if you want to be good, you need to be delusional. I think in terms of conviction, you and I have the most conviction out in the sales world, at least in the remote high-ticket space. You told me once, hey, June, like, your conviction is unmatched. I told you the same thing, like, June, you're an absolute bulldozer. But that is where our conviction is coming from, is we could have done more. We can do more. Then why just settle? Like, the people around me don't deserve it. The person that you can become doesn't deserve that. Then we have to make decisions. We cannot keep on selling ourselves short. Like, I think that's where it co-aligns, and that's where it's different also. At the end of the day, you want to ask yourself, who do I want to be remembered as by myself? Who do I want to be remembered as by the people that count on me? The people that genuinely care about me and I care about them. Right? And that's why even I tell you, like, hey, we gotta create more memories. And you're like also, you're like also, hey, June, we gotta be better. And that way we're like compensating each other also.
Yeah, there's two parts to this, and there's also seasons, because I have seasons where I just want to sit down and just like fucking get after it.
Oh, same here, because you know us Koreans, you know us Asians, like, I think you and I were the same also. Like, there was one point in 8 months straight, or I don't know how many months, but for me, 8 months straight, I was locked up in my mom's room, mom's house, and just straight up taking calls from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. 8 months straight. That basically kills you. I don't know how Boktan does it, but that basically killed me. I'm like, why am I doing this? But I wanted to prove a point that I can do it.
Yep.
Like, what about you, like the time zone thing and everything? Like,
yeah, I mean, it's basically because you're in Korea. You're taking calls from like midnight to 10 a.m. It's not fucking healthy.
Yeah, and I didn't even move around because I didn't want to I didn't want to adapt a new environment. I just wanted to just fucking go all in, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I've had that too, but they're kicking us out. So we're all overdue. Stories for another day. But thanks for tuning in for another episode of The Dynasty. Make sure you smash the like button, subscribe, share it to your homies, and we'll catch you on the next episode.
Share it to the ladies also, please.
Peace out.